Hello everyone, welcome to another important lecture in the series of class 11th NCERT, that is Fundamentals of Physical Geography. We are going to study in this lecture Unit 2, the Earth, and in Unit 2 we are going to study Chapter 2, the Origin and Evolution of Earth, Part B. In the previous lecture we have studied the Part A of this lecture. The learning objective of this lecture are formation of stars and galaxies, how stars are formed, how galaxies are formed, formation of planets, our solar system, evolution of Earth and Moon, evolution of lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, and origin of life. To watch previous lectures of this series, you can click on the I button on the top right corner of your screen. Now let's begin with the quick recap of the old lecture, because Big Bang theory, in which we have studied the evolution of universe, is directly linked with the evolution of stars and planets as well, because Big Bang theory explained the evolution of all those things. Now what this Big Bang theory told? Big Bang theory told that there was a singularity point in approximately 13.7 billion years ago. The singularity point behaved like a black hole. Black hole means it absorbed all the masses and energy into it, and it became unstable approximately 13.7 billion years ago, and it exploded, and this explosion, as we popularly is known as Big Bang. And after the Big Bang, the whole lot of mass stored in this particular point was thrown out, and it was continuously expanding in the universe. All these theories we have already studied in the last lecture that you can follow. Now when this particular star mass of all those dust particles were expanding in the galaxies or expanding in the universe, it led to the formation of galaxies and stars. Now we will see how formation of galaxies and stars took place. Basically, what is a galaxy? A galaxy is a huge collection of dust, gas, billions of stars, their solar systems, and all these things are held together by the gravitational pull of each other, right? And what is a star? A star is a huge glowing ball of hot gas. Mainly the gas used is hydrogen and helium, and these gases are actually the fuel of the star. Because of hydrogen only the star glows. What is the process going on in the core of the sun? Two hydrogen atoms are fusing together to form helium. That is, fusion is happening there, hydrogen fusion, and because of this fusion a huge amount of energy is liberated, which forms the source of the light and heat energy that the star gives us. Sun also have this type of phenomenon going on. Now what is stage 1 of formation of stars? Basically, if we see, when Big Bang occurred, the whole lot of mass and dust was scattered around in the universe, and since this dust particles were not uniform in mass, and as we all know that if there are irregular mass property, like we have various bodies which have different masses, then they will attract each other and they will pull each other. Why they will pull each other? Because Newton's law of gravitation, universal law of gravitation given by Newton, tells us this. Now as you can see, there is a large mass of body like this, and this large mass of body is basically attracting all other smaller particles nearby it. Now if you can see the red arrows, these red arrows indicate that other smaller particles are attracted to a still larger body there. But there is a circle there which indicates that there are some bodies which are outside the gravitational influence of this larger circle there, and hence if we can see that if these bodies are outside the influence of this larger mass, then they will not be attracted towards this body. Instead, this particular circle or this particular body will be attracting other bodies nearby it, other smaller bodies nearby it towards itself, and this particular thing will lead to the formation of a nebula. Then this whole system, what we are actually seeing is a nebula. How we define nebula in the last lecture, we have seen that nebula is a cloud of dust and gases. So this is dust and gases only, right? That is why we can call that it as nebula, and this nebula forms the basis of formation of a galaxies. How it forms the formation of galaxies? Because all these masses that we are seeing at present will form what they will form? They will form stars. And how these stars will be formed? Again, you can see there is a local circle there this circle, if you can see, there is a larger body and there are some smaller body. This larger body will in turn again attract these smaller bodies nearby it. Simultaneously, this star, this dust particle, this dust particle, this dust particle, these all bodies will attract other dust particles, small particles nearby it, small gaseous particles nearby it. And what will actually result into this localized lump of gas will be formed, and this localized lump of gas will again condense, or the density of this localized for the gas ball or localized lump of gas will keep on increasing, because the larger mass located at the center of the body is attracting the smaller mass particle towards each other, and this will result into increase in density. An increase in density will further result into pressure increase, temperature will increase, and finally as the temperature increase it will start glowing, because the dust particle will achieve, or the whole mass will achieve such temperature that it will start glowing, and this particular glowing is known as, glowing body will be known as a star, right? And then all the gaseous particle will react or will fuse with each other, giving the continuous formation or giving the continuous fuel for the glowing of a star. So this is the basic idea behind the formation of star. Stars are supposed to have formed between 5 to 6 billion years ago. Now basically if we see how these stars are held together, देखिए अगर हम देखें इस पर्टिकुलर डायग्राम को तो we can see that there is a star which is experiencing some gravitational pull, which is the external force. Simultaneously the core is producing heat and pressure, which is providing external force to the, or which is providing the outward pressure to the star. So both these things are in balance, and hence these two things, gravitational pull and pressure created, heat and pressure created due to the reactions in the core, is in balance. That is why the star do not collapse. If at all the core is hydrogenless, means there is no hydrogen, no fuel left in the core, what will happen? Pressure will decrease, and as the pressure will decrease, gravitational pull will dominate pressure and the star will collapse, resulting into an explosion which is known as supernova, right? So these type of phenomenon happens in the atmosphere here and there. Now how formation of planet is. Now before studying the formation of planet, we should know what is a planet. A planet is a celestial body that is in orbit around the sun. Second, has sufficient mass for its self-gravity to overcome rigid body forces, so that it assumes a hydrostatic equilibrium and nearly round shape. Also has cleared the neighborhood around its orbit, means around the orbit all the things have been cleared by the planet. It is large enough to clear those particles coming across in its orbit. So these are three basic criteria which decide if a celestial body will be called a planet or any other name will be given to it. Now stage 1 of forming of a planet, we have studied the formation of a star. Now the star are localized lumps of gases within a nebula, means still there are various gas particles, various dust particles available around the star that is glowing. The gravitational force within the lump lead to the formation of a core to the gas cloud, and a huge rotating disk of gas and dust develop around the gas core that we can see in the animation below. Stage 2, the gas cloud starts getting condensed and the matter around the core develop into rounded objects. All the matter that we were seeing in form of particles is now developed into what we can say is rounded objects, which are also called as planetesimals. These rounded objects that you are seeing here are known as planetesimals, right? And these planetesimals started colliding with each other, and due to this non-elastic collision, what actually happens is gravitational attraction causes the matter to stick together. These balls will stick together with each other, and when these balls stick together with each other, they result into formation of larger number of balls or larger number of larger bodies, and these larger bodies are known as planets, as we can see today as Earth, Uranus, Neptune. Pluto has been removed from the definition of planet, but other planets exist because of this phenomenon only, and this is basically explained in Big Bang theory as well. Now our solar system, what is our solar system? Our solar system consists of 8 planets as of now. Before it was 9 planets, now we at present we have 8 because Pluto has been removed. What are the 8 planets? If we count from nearby sun to the farthest to sun is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Now first 4 are known as terrestrial planet, that is Earth like or also known as inner planet. These planets are made up of rock and metal and have relatively high density. The remaining 4 planets are known as Jovian planet, that is Jupiter like planet, are also known as outer planet. Most of them are much larger than the terrestrial planet and have thick atmosphere, mostly of helium and hydrogen. And all these planets are formed approximately 4.6 billion years ago, that is the age of the Earth also. Now the difference between terrestrial planets and Jovian planets. Basically, terrestrial planets are smaller size and mass is less. Now Jovian planets is larger in size and mass. Terrestrial planets have high density because all the density depends on what particle it is made up of, what rock structure it is made up of. So Earth and Earth like planet, terrestrial planets are made of solid rocks, so it is higher in density, while Jovian planets is made up of clumps of gases, so gas has lower density, hence Jovian planet have lower densities. Now terrestrial planets are mainly made up of rock and metals, and Jovian planets are mainly or mostly made up of helium hydrogen compounds. Now terrestrial planets have solid surfaces, Jovian planets have no solid surfaces. Terrestrial planets are few, if any. Moon has no rings. Now few moons with no rings. Now Jovian planets have rings and many moons, like you can see Jupiter itself, it has many moons and 7 rings. Now we have Saturn has 7 rings. Now we have terrestrial planets which are closer to Earth, means distance from the sun is closer. Now second is Jovian planets which are farther from the sun, and hence those planets which are nearer to the sun are warm enough, warm surface is there, and Jovian planets which are farther away are cooler in temperature, and the temperature there is very cold. Next, what we have, why are the inner planets rocky while other are mostly in gaseous form? So there are various points. Like first, the terrestrial planets were formed in the close vicinity of the planet parent star, that is sun. If we can say, all the terrestrial planets are formed nearby sun, and it was too warm for the gases to condense there into solid particles. So the gases cannot be condensed into solid particles in Mercury, in Venus, in Earth, and Mars. So what these gases did, they formed the atmosphere, and the rest lighter gases were flown away. Like the solar winds were most intense near the sun, and hence it blew off lots of gases and dust from the terrestrial planet. Means all the dust and the gases or the lighter particles were blown off because of solar winds, and it could not condense in the form of a planet. Hence the density of the planet is higher, because all the mass available in the terrestrial planet is because of solid material or highly denser material, or material which have more weight, because more weight particle or more dense particle could not be flown away because of the solar winds. The solar winds were also intense till Mars, but not at all intense enough till Jupiter or Jovian planets, because they cannot remove gases from there. Means solar winds were there, but they were not that much intensity after Mars that they can remove the atmosphere of Jovian planets. That is why the Jovian planets comprises of dust and gases, and these dust and gases condensed near the or after the Mars planet, or after the start of the Jovian planet or Jupiter. The gases and dust particle condense, and gases and dust particle lighter in weight and have low density. That is why these planets are also having low density. Now the terrestrial planets are smaller, and because of the low gravity they cannot hold the escaping gases. Means the escaping gases due to the solar winds could not be retained by the smaller planets because of their low gravity. But the planets such as Jupiter, the planets such as Uranus or Saturn are bigger in size, bigger in or larger in their mass, and hence they can hold the escaping gases due to the solar winds. Means there were two forces acting simultaneously on Jupiter planet. First one was the force due to solar winds, and the second one was the gravitational pull due to Jupiter. And hence, since Jupiter has larger gravitational pull, so the gas particle or the atmosphere around the Jupiter is still located, or still it cannot be wiped out because of the solar winds, because the gravitational pull of Jupiter was higher. Now the next is moons. What is a moon? A moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth. How moons is formed? So there are two theories. First is George Darwin theory, which says that initially the Earth and the Moon formed a single rapidly rotating body, means both Earth and the Moon were the same body, and the whole mass became a dumbbell shaped body. Because of rotation, the whole mass became like a dumbbell, and eventually the dumbbell broken up, and the one body was known as Moon and the other body was known as star. Now next theory is a big splat, that is a modern theory, which says that a body of the size of approximately 1 to 3 times of that of Mars collided into the Earth. Sometimes shortly after the Earth was formed, as soon as the Earth was formed, a body of approximately 1 to 3 times of that of Mars collided, and because of this collision, a large part of Earth was thrown out in the space, and which actually consolidated with each other. This large mass of particles which was thrown out of the Earth planet was consolidated, and it condensed together to form Moon. And this theory is accepted by most of the geographers. Apart from these, there are other theories like spouse theory. Spouse theory tells that our Moon is married with the Earth. Moon is married with the Earth means the Moon was another celestial body roaming around in the universe, and when it came nearby the Earth, it started rotating around the Earth in an orbit, and hence it becomes Moon. Next is daughter theory. Daughter theory means the Moon is formed from the material excluded from the, or material left out material, or from the material formed due to Earth itself, like suggested by George Darwin. Next is sister theory. Sister theory means both Moon and Earth were formed by the same process, like the planets were formed, and due to larger mass of the Earth, the Moon actually orbited Earth because of larger mass of larger gravitational pull of Moon than the larger gravitational pull of the Earth rather than the Sun. So it started rotating around Earth, revolving around Earth. So that is why that is the story. 3 other theories that are considered as in the evolution of Moon. Next we have evolution of Earth. The planet Earth was initially a barren, rocky and a hot object with a thin atmosphere of hydrogen and helium. It was not at all as we live at present. It was a ball of heat, or it was a fireball, if you can say. And the Earth has a layered structure. Earth has a layered structure from outermost end of the atmosphere to the center of the Earth. If we see from the extreme tip of the atmosphere till the core, if you can see, the whole Earth is arranged in a layered section, layered manner. And how this was formed, then we can see that the Earth consists of lithosphere, evolution of Earth, and atmosphere, evolution of atmosphere, hydrosphere and life. So one by one we will see the evolution of lithosphere. Basically Earth was a volatile ball, and because of this volatility and because of the gravitational pull of Earth, its density kept on increasing. Because of the increase in the density, temperature kept on increasing, and because of this high temperature, all the material by which the Earth was formed was converted into a molten lava, or inside in the molten stage. Molten stage, we can say that in the liquid stage. When all the things were, all the constituent elements of the Earth were in liquid stage, we can say that the heavier particles or the heavier masses were settled down in the core region. Because if we understand by the help of an example, if you have a bucket full of water, and if you drop a particle or of a piece of iron which has high density than water, then the iron mass or iron body will sink into the bottom. So same thing happened, the heavier body sink towards the center of the earth when condensed. And since simultaneously cooling was operating, so after sinking to the bottom of the earth, the temperature reduced, the bottom of the earth got solidified, because temperature gradually reduced and the iron will not be acting as a molten material, or iron will solidify as cooling will start. Iron will solidify first, then aluminum will solidify, means the melting points are different, hence the solidifying points are also different. So with the cooling of the earth, metals with high melting point will solidify first, and hence iron which was at high melting point, nickel which was having a high melting point, solidified in the core region. And with the further cooling and further condensation, the outer crust or the outer particles also started solidifying, leading to the formation of what we call as lithosphere. And hence this whole process is known as planetary differentiation, because in this planetary differentiation, what actually happened is the earth internal structure was solidified into the form of different layers, outermost being crust, then mantle, and then we can see as the core. Next is evolution of atmosphere. Initially, Earth has a primordial atmosphere, that means helium, only made up of helium and hydrogen. But this primordial atmosphere was stripped off by solar winds, as we have discussed that the Earth-like planets, terrestrial planet, were under the heavy influence of solar winds coming out from the sun, and hence helium and hydrogen, being a light gases, they could not hold by the solar winds, and they were wiped out, or they moved out from the gravitational pull of the earth, and they were roaming around in the universe, but not around the earth, or not as a part of the atmosphere of the earth. And what happened next? Cooling is going on simultaneously. So what next happened? Outpouring of gases, what we can say? Outpouring means the Earth's interior was having the cooling process, as we have seen in the evolution of lithosphere, that cooling was going on, and when cooling was going on, it started liberating some gases like water vapor, methane, CO2, and this interior of the Earth started liberating these gases outside the Earth, and these gases were forming these gases were attracted or were attached to the Earth's surface because of the gravitational pull of the Earth, and this whole phenomenon is known as degassing. And degassing was happening due to volcanic eruptions. So we have one stage in the geological history of the Earth which is known as volcanic age, Cretaceous age, where the whole Earth was covered with volcano, and in this particular age, what was actually happening was degassing was happening. The interior of the Earth was releasing CO2, methane, and water vapor into the atmosphere, into the surrounding atmosphere of the Earth. What happened next? Further cooling led to condensation of water vapor into rain, means the whole water vapor which was released as a degassing process was converted into rain, and which dissolved in the atmospheric CO2. The large part of atmospheric CO2 was dissolved in the form of rainwater, with the rainwater, and which the dissolved CO2 was accommodated in the form of hydrosphere, that is the water body that exists at present. Hydrosphere is the water body, or all the water bodies present on the surface of the Earth is collectively known as hydrosphere. And because of the condensation process, water vapor converted into rain, and these rain drops or these water molecules which came onto the Earth was collected in the depressions of the Earth, and these depressions are known as, or these water collected in the depression is collectively known as hydrosphere. Now what actually happened? Chemical reactions led to the creation of organic matter and these chemical reactions which were going in the oceanic region created organic molecules, because CO2 was dissolved in water, and because of CO2, because of this carbon compound, organic molecules were formed, and organic molecules were later converted into unicellular organisms somewhat around 3800 million years ago. And this was the first time when life was evolved, and since the life was evolved in oceans, it was limited, remained under the oceans for most of the years for many years across the timeline. What happened next? This particular phenomenon tells us that evolution of life or origin of life has taken place. What next? After the origin of life, photosynthesis effect started, because life is there, unicellular organisms are there, and we can say algae is there, or we can say various other plants are there, and these plants started synthesizing or started making their own food, that is known as photosynthesis. And because of photosynthesis, the dissolved CO2 in the oceanic water was converted into oxygen, and this oxygen was again liberated into the atmosphere. So this basic process led to the formation of, or led to the flooding up of oceans with the atmosphere, oceans and atmosphere with the oxygen. So this whole process teaches us how our oceans were flooded with oxygen and how our atmosphere was flooded with oxygen. What happened next? After the liberation of oxygen, atmosphere already had some part of CO2 and methane and other gases. So with the liberation of oxygen, our atmosphere got completed, and later life also evolved. Life evolved in the form of unicellular, then multicellular, and then structures like, or creatures like human being. So this was a lecture in which we studied the evolution of Earth, evolution of stars, formation of Earth, stars, planets, moons, etc. And in the next lecture, we are going to study interior of the Earth. Thanks for watching this lecture. You can join Sculpt Academy on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please click on the subscribe button, subscribe, and please click on the bell icon to receive notification of our next lecture. Till then, stay home, stay safe, study online. Thank you.